Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner-builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. All right, so we have these two patio sections here that they want to have heated. And let's go ahead and look at the overall construction here, or dimensions rather. And so overall dimensions, you can see here, I have from outside edge to outside edge of the post at 18.9. I have a distance of the ceiling at 18.11, and then I have a depth of 12 feet from the wall here to the outside edge of the patio deck itself. We have a fireplace 18 feet from this inside edge to inside edge. Now, I don't have the true height dimensions, but you can see here I have this section here at 10 feet, and this section here from the finished floor to the ceiling at 9 feet. 20 feet total from the bottom edge here to the bottom of the ceiling here. The dimensions aren't going to be as important at this moment. However, if it's really low, then we might want to change some of this stuff here. But I would highly recommend that this application has a control for both of these different spaces. Now I'm going to also just show that they have a floor plan that I had copied, and the main thing that I really want to show on the floor plan is the location of the heaters they wanted. And I'm going to actually move this up so you can kind of see more of where I actually placed the heaters based on the floor plan and where they had them themselves. So you can see here is one unit here and the other units over here. However, if we look really closely, you can see that I have those moved into the center a little bit further, and I'll talk about that in just a minute here. But I'm going to go ahead and put this back down and close that floor plan up for right now. Here we have a door that swings into the structure, and up here we have two sliding doors that go left to right. Not sure if they're going to have a fan in here or not, but we could talk about that if that is something they're looking for. All right, so let's go ahead and take off the dimensions for right now and talk about what we have here. So what I have here on this plan is two of the 6,000 watt dual element units. These are 6,000 watt 240 volts at 25 amps a piece, and I have them. Let's go ahead and look at the distances that I have from each other, and let's see if I have this. So here you can see center to center I have those at 9 feet, and then I also placed it center to center from this fireplace wall here to the outside edge at 5 feet 6, and you can see over here 5'6" as well. From this point right here, you can see that that center point is at 2'9" inches, and so that's something I kind of like a little bit better if that's capable of doing. And the same is true with the units up here as far as the distances and center position from this outside edge to the fireplace wall here. So let's go ahead now and look at the footprint of heat. So footprint of heat, this is kind of why I like them a little bit closer than what the plan had. So we have some overlapping rays right here. If I was to move these slightly over, let's see if we can do that. Let's just go ahead and move these about maybe 12 inches is what it was about, and we'll move those 12 inches over here, and you can see that our overlapping ray here isn't very great. So if there's any seating or occupied positions here, then the crossover rays aren't going to be strong enough to make it uniform in its comfort. These are infrared light waves. I'm going to go ahead and place those back right now. These are infrared light waves. So if you were in, let's say, the shadow of the sun, so I have the shade right now from the sunlight, and if you were in the shadow of the sun, you would not feel the warmth whatsoever. However, if in this is, say, the air temperature is 65 degrees, something of that nature, but you were to stand over here, immediately you'll feel the warmth of the sun. And the same is true with infrared. With infrared light waves, you don't visually see the light waves because they're invisible to the human eye. However, if you're in that light wave, you will feel the warmth. And what I've done here is just made sure that the overlapping ray here in the center makes it so that the comfort level or the intensity is uniform as much as possible between the two heaters, and that's why I have them separated like that. And so you can see here also we have I just put a dining position up here, but we also have that overcrossing rays. You can even see that, you know, if you're sitting here in the middle, or if there's a larger table and there's an extra chair coming through here, that position isn't as perfect as I would like. However, if you're outside edge, you would feel that warmth. And there is the crossover rays that I had spoke about before. But what I have up here again is I have a 9-foot ceiling height. So the ceiling height here is 1 foot less than the ceiling height here. And because of that, you're sitting a little bit higher, and the intensity is a little bit stronger, as well as the coverage, you can see, comes down a little bit further with these units. And so the overlapping rays here are not as strong. But I would say that this would still be a decent application on the top here, and it would be great down here below. Now, if we could move the heaters on the inside, or rather on the upper floor, a little bit further in, let's go 12 inches, and we'll go 12 inches here. Let's see. And now you can see that those overlapping rays are really, really nice. You may not even need to go 12, maybe only 9 and 9, something of that nature. However, getting those overlapping rays is kind of important to make it more uniform if that is possible. So lastly, on this particular application here, I'm going to turn off the rays for a minute and talk about the positioning of the heaters with regards to the ceiling joists on this. So the ceiling joists are up here. What I've done is I've taken two of the 2x8 beams, I placed them together, and then from that point there I moved them 16 inches on down the area here. This particular unit fit no problem. However, over here you can see that this position from here to here is not the same. And what I had done, I'm going to actually move this over here as well, is I repositioned some of the ceiling joists so that the structural integrity would be what I think, and I'm not a structural engineer, so this is not a true statement, but what I see, I should say, out in the field that many people do is they place another ceiling joist up here so that it can house the unit where you want it to be. And if we were to move, like I had said up here, if we were to move these heaters here, then obviously, you know, that's 12-inch or 9-inch change. I'm going to go ahead with a 9-inch change just so you can see. Then obviously we have these beams in the way, ceiling joists rather, and we'd have to change that as well. So I'm going to go back to this, and yeah, just to let you know that that's something that needs to happen. The other thing too is I have this as a stucco finish ceiling, and you can see that the physical flush mount kit here I have attached to the ceiling joist up here. And what you could do is you could actually, you know, this is a flat surface right now, but if I was to add just a few, a ½ inch of depth on that, then the flush mount kit itself is being covered by the stucco itself. And what you need to make sure is that you have at least 1 inch of clearance between the vent holes on the flush mount kit itself and any finish sealing area. Also, you would want to drop the heater down so it is at the same elevation. There are brackets that will allow you to drop the heater down just fractions of an inch, but let's just go ahead and drop this one down a small amount here so that you can see that we're at the same elevation as the stucco finish ceiling now. Let's see if we can grab one more thing on this, and let me see if hang on one second. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the clearance. So the clearance is below the heater itself. It's 18 inches on all 4 sides, so 18 here, 18 there, front to back 18. And you can see that we're meeting the clearances between the beams and things of that nature. And then if there was a fan to be used, let's see if I can show the geometry of this drawing. And let's go ahead and just get a measurement here. Show the measurement from this point here to this point here. And let's see if we can actually visually see that. So that's 5'4". So you can have a fan when the heaters are placed in this configuration that I showed, 9 foot center to center. You could have a fan that's 5'4" in diameter, and that would still meet the clearances on those fan blades if those fan blades are in fact wooden or combustible. So this is the combustible clearance rate. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. And the same is true with the upper floor over here. Here, moving the heaters around, we can change this again, or I should say, look at the dimensions up here. If we were to look at those true dimensions, then we have a 3'3". So the diameter of a fan blade would be less if those are combustible fan blades, or you can get a steel fan blade and go all the way up into the combustible area. However, you don't want the fan blade to physically hit the ray itself, so you want to kind of get an idea of what that might be with a true dimension of the fan blade. So let me go ahead and turn that off here and go and talk about one further thing. And that one further thing is going to be, I went ahead and duplicated this drawing, and you can see here we have the clearances a little bit different. And the difference is that I placed a 5200 watt unit. So this particular unit itself is 48 inches in length. So from the heater edge here to the heater edge here, 48 inches. All the other dimensions are the same. And also you can see that our coverage is about the same as well, except that if this is still, like I said, a 9 foot ceiling height, it would be nicer for these two heaters to be a little bit closer so that you get a little bit more overlapping rays. I'm going to try this one at 6 inches as opposed to the 12 that I showed before. And 6 inches, you're getting a good overlapping ray here. So I would say the 6 inches would be adequate if, in fact, this is only 9 feet off the finished floor. But a control panel would still be important. The intensity of this 5200 watt unit is about the same as the 6000 watt over here. It's just that the 6000 watt unit itself will place about a 12 foot throw from front to back here, where this one here would be more like 10, 11 feet front to back. And the one thing I like about this, and I'm going to go ahead and put those back just for the visual aspect of it. The one thing I like about this one a little bit better is the fact that they're shorter and they still cover the entire space that could be occupied underneath the actual structure itself. So all right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve, and please tap that like button. Subscribe to our channel. It really helps our channel out, and it helps others find it, and appreciate you doing that. It really is a benefit for us all. So thank you very much. Have an excellent day.